How to succeed on YouTube, essential tips and realities for new creators. Hello and welcome to PhilosophyTube, the educational channel I'm honored to present. My name is Ol, and I'm excited to share with you some valuable insights on becoming a successful YouTuber. Recently, one of my favorite creators, Thomas Tomcar Ridwell, made a video about how to YouTube, which inspired me to write an article for The Independent, a prominent UK national newspaper. Although a significant portion of my article was edited out, I'm glad to have the opportunity to elaborate on those points in this video. Traditional media outlets often describe YouTube using the Wild West metaphor, suggesting that it's a frontier where anyone can strike gold and achieve success, implying that everyone has an equal chance of making it big. However, this notion isn't entirely accurate. In addition to the excellent points made by Tom in his video, I'd like to highlight 4 essential factors to consider if you aspire to become a YouTuber. Firstly, having a financial safety net is crucial. You'll need to invest in a good camera, microphone, and editing software, which can be costly. While it's true that you don't necessarily need the most advanced equipment to start, your final product needs to be of high quality to attract and retain viewers. As the popularity of YouTube grows, so do the expectations of its audience. Many successful YouTubers have professionally produced videos, which sets a high standard for newcomers. Moreover, you may need to budget for travel expenses to attend conventions, meetups, and training sessions at YouTube's creator spaces. These events can be invaluable for networking and learning, but they often require significant travel costs, especially if you live far from the venues. Fortunately, if you're able to grow your channel to a substantial size, you may be able to recoup some of these expenses through advertising, brand sponsorships, crowdfunding, and merchandise sales. However, it's essential to note that these revenue streams typically become viable only after you've reached a certain level of success. The reality is that YouTube can be similar to stand-up comedy, where you need to invest time and money into your craft before you can expect to earn a living from it. If you're unable to achieve this level of success, those initial startup costs can be a significant financial burden. This brings me to my second point, the importance of acknowledging the role of privilege in YouTube's ecosystem. It's not that you need to be white to be a successful YouTuber, but rather that the English-speaking section of YouTube is disproportionately represented by white creators. This is largely due to the fact that white families tend to have more disposable income and assets, according to data from the UK's Department of Work and Pensions. This isn't a problem inherent to YouTube itself, but rather a reflection of the societal inequalities that still exist. It's essential to recognize that YouTube is a product of our society, and as such, it inherits many of its biases and inequalities. You may be thinking of counterexamples, such as successful YouTubers from diverse backgrounds, and that's great. However, individual exceptions don't necessarily disprove the overall point that there are systemic barriers to success on YouTube. It's crucial to acknowledge these challenges and work towards creating a more inclusive and equitable environment for all creators. It is important to recognize that existing societal inequalities can be reflected in platforms like YouTube, rather than simply being eliminated. This notion is often underestimated, as the metaphor of the Wild West might suggest a more level playing field than what truly exists. While YouTube can indeed feel like a gold rush, upon arrival, one may discover that the most advantageous positions have already been claimed by affluent individuals, predominantly white men. I want to emphasize that this situation is not how things should be, and I genuinely hope for change both on YouTube and in society as a whole. I acknowledge my own privilege in this context, which brings me to my next point. Moving into a more sensitive area, it is a reality that male creators on YouTube typically face significantly less harassment compared to their female counterparts. For those interested in this topic, I recommend watching a video that explores the experiences of women on YouTube. For instance, the online community can be quite hostile towards discussions surrounding feminism. In my own experience, when I address feminist topics on my channel, I encounter far less backlash than female content creators who tackle the same subjects. I have a friend, who I will keep anonymous for her privacy, who also runs an educational channel. Unlike me, she faces gender-based harassment in her comment section on a daily basis, simply because she is a woman. This disparity is not how things should be, and while there are individual exceptions, they do not negate the broader issue at hand. This is a significant problem across many online platforms, and the Wild West metaphor continues to resonate too strongly. YouTube can be a challenging environment, especially for those who are not male. On a more positive note, let's discuss the importance of charisma. Thankfully, this aspect is much more uplifting. When I mention charisma, I'm not solely referring to being engaging on camera, which is not always a strict requirement. In any industry, including YouTube, making a good impression during meetings, events, and conventions is essential. Networking is a crucial part of the job, and it's somewhat unfortunate that an industry that prides itself on authenticity and relatability still places a high value on networking. You might think that as a YouTuber, your social skills wouldn't matter as long as you can communicate effectively through email. However, like in many areas of life, being personable can significantly benefit you. It's not necessary to approach networking with a cynical mindset, seeking out the most famous individuals or those who can offer you the most in return, as that would be considered selfish. Instead, be open to business opportunities that may arise in casual settings. In conclusion, my top piece of advice for anyone aspiring to become a YouTuber is to approach it with realistic expectations. It is a job, and like any job, it comes with its share of ups and downs and requires hard work. It is not the glamorous, carefree Wild West that traditional media often portrays. At times, it can even feel quite unfair. One of my greatest disappointments was having a crucial point omitted from the article I wrote. If you're considering becoming a YouTuber, let me assure you, it is absolutely worth it. Truly, it's one of the most rewarding and incredible experiences I've had the privilege to enjoy, even just on a part-time basis like I do. Creating a video and then connecting with someone you've never met before through that content is genuinely one of the most amazing feelings you can experience. When a stranger tells me that they learned something fascinating from one of my videos or that it changed the way they see the world, it's an incredibly fulfilling moment. This kind of connection makes all the effort worthwhile. What makes this journey even more special is that you'll need to shed any illusions or preconceived notions you might have about what it means to be a creator. You'll have the chance to collaborate and engage with incredibly talented and creative individuals, not just other YouTubers, but also fans who bring their own unique energy and enthusiasm. I've mentioned before that I believe I have one of the best comment sections on YouTube, which is a real treasure. Of course, there is a more corporate, business-driven side to YouTube that can sometimes feel a bit grey and impersonal, and that's unfortunate. However, one of my favorite creators once told me something that really stuck: you can make the business side work in service of your true passion. For me, that passion is educating people who might not otherwise have access to the knowledge I've been lucky enough to gain. If your goal is to connect with an audience and share something meaningful, then absolutely go for it with everything you've got. Keep in mind, the path isn't perfect or glamorous. There will be challenges and imperfections along the way, but despite all that, you will have an incredible experience. And I look forward to seeing you out there on the internet. I hope you found this video either helpful or at least interesting. If you did, the best thing you could do to support me is to share it with others who might be thinking about starting their own YouTube journey. Let them see it and take whatever inspiration or advice they can from it. A special thank you goes to Tom Scar for his video, which inspired the editing style of this one, a deliberate nod to his unique approach. If you haven't already explored his content, I highly recommend checking it out because he's truly an inspiring creator. And of course, for more philosophical videos every Friday, please consider subscribing.